What's happening, everybody? Another video with your favorite Mr. Cator. Imagine Cator had an online store. What would it be called? What would it sell? And when will it launch? That's the question I'm going to try to answer in this video. So for this whole Angular series, instead of just building something out of nowhere, I decided to go with an approach of building something that we can use in real life, so that you can see how I structure my own project and as well how do I execute them if I will at any given point. And that is the reason why we're going to build an online store for Cator. So the name, well, I haven't really decided, but there's two suggestions on the table: either Shop at Cator or Cator Stores. Which one it will win will be decided by everybody who's going to be engaging in this whole journey. So the main features are going to be your homepage, your product page, category, cart page, and also obviously the checkout page. The user will be able to also manage their account and then be able to, change their details on the app directly. Otherwise, let's just jump straight into it and then start coding. We will learn, make mistakes, get bugs, and probably get stuck along the way. But that's not the idea. The idea is to get it working at the end of the day. So, Angular 2024. So before I start any coding, I always go online just to look for inspirations to base my idea on. So I went to dribble.com and then just check an online store that we can use as an idea to build our Cator online store based on. So you can see here there is a very nice simple product page which just shows the details about our product, some sort of a description, as well as two buttons at the bottom, and then the picture or the image of the product we would like to sell. On the other side, I think this is the mobile version of the store. What are we going to be selling? Definitely some sort of, Cator t-shirts or some cool t-shirts that we can find on the internet and then put it up there. Now that you have an idea of what we would like to build, let's jump straight into the Angular setup, npm, and just get this ball rolling. This is the official new Angular website. I think this was launched when they were launching version 17 or 18. You can see here, you can be able to toggle between the versions that you are looking for. I would advise you to always choose the latest because it probably has the newer stuff, the exciting stuff that you might want to use in your app, and even faster. So, if you scroll down, there's this very nice animations, and I think I kind of just like it, but I don't want to waste much of your time. Let's just look at the documentation. So you can just click here straight, and then you say docs, and then it will tell you, okay, what is Angular? And Angular is a web framework that empowers developers to build fast and reliable applications. There's so many texts to just give you an idea of what Angular is and other documents that you can go and read. You can do that at your own time. For me, my idea is I want to be able to set up an Angular app. So let's go and check under tutorials. So under tutorials, you have two options. You can learn Angular in your browser or build your first Angular app locally. Before we go to the learning Angular in your browser, I want to tell you about another IDE that was launched by Google, and it operates entirely online or on a website. So it's called idx.dev. This is like your VS Code, but it allows you to code online and be able to test your stuff straight from the web browser. I won't be using it in this case, but I just thought it would be cool to just let you know. So when you click this learn Angular in your browser, you will see a screen like this, and then this is where obviously you can see there's an Angular app that is running. Don't worry about what you see here. We will go through each and every topic and try to explain it in the simplest way possible. But what is happening here is this is a simple Angular website that says I want to print up something like welcome to Angular Andy. I don't know how it knows my name, but yeah, I just changed that. And then when it changed that, it obviously same time reloads, show you changes, and then it goes like that. And yeah, that is the Angular experience straight on the website. But then we will be looking at the one wherein you are building your first Angular app locally. And I'm going to just show you what you need to set up to get started. Before we start this exercise, I would like you to note that I'm going to assume that you have at least an introduction or some idea of what HTML is and be able to use it or code like an HTML page. And if not, go and check out some tutorials on YouTube and then it should be able to take you through that. Also have an idea of JavaScript or any other programming language that is out there similar to JavaScript. Also have an idea of what CSS is, how can you use it to style our components and the things that we're going to be working with, and at least just an idea of using command lines. It could be your git bash, or it could just be running a simple ipconfig command on your computer, or anything simple, just to understand how to use the terminal and the command line interface. The Angular setup is quite simple, straightforward, and only consists of 4 steps. The first one is identify the version of Node.js that your Angular requires. To install Node.js, you can just go straight to nodejs.org and then download the Node.js long-term support version of it. And then in that way, you should be able to run the command like node-version on your CMD. To be able to open your command line interface, you just have to type, maybe if you're on Windows, you just press the Windows button, type CMD, and then you do enter, and then it will open a Windows similar to this. And from there, you can just check the version that you are on. I'm pretty sure I am still on a Node version that is maybe not so old, but yeah, you can just check, ensure yours is like the latest at that time. In many cases, the right version for Angular would be your long-term support, which is LTS in Node.js. So just make sure that they do match up, and then you can be able to install the latest version of your Angular CLI. To do that, you just type in npm install -g at Angular CLI. This -g means that it's going to install Angular globally, basically in your whole computer, and anyone can be able to call Angular CLI anywhere. And then obviously the last one is you install your IDE. In this case, I'll be using either the Visual Studio Code or the JetBrains WebStorm IDE. So far, I will assume that you have installed your Angular CLI. If you didn't, you need to type in this npm install -g at Angular CLI in your command, and then you can just run it. I'm not gonna run it this time. And if you're on Windows and you're experiencing some issues with permissions, then you can just type in this command: set execution policy -scope current user execution policy remote sign. You can also check that on the Angular dev website. And then if I execute, then it should be able to allow me to run some Angular command. Otherwise, let's just jump straight into creating our first app. So to do that, you need to type ng. ng is an Angular command that kind of triggers the Angular CLI. And then you say new. I'm gonna call this one app Cator store. So the new, it means that I want to create a new app, and with the name Cator. The command is still the same: ng new Cator -store, and then you press enter. Give it a few seconds, and then it will ask you what would you like to use for your CSS. So in my case, I'll go with SAS, so which is this one. Do you want to enable server-side rendering and static generation? I'll just say yes. You can keep it no if you want, but for me, server-side rendering allows your website to be indexed on like Google, so you see the bots will be able to read it. But yeah, that's a whole new different topic that we won't have to cover it here. It's finally done installing, and you can see that it is created all these different files. And what you need to do is just cd Cator store, and then now you should be able to say code dot. This will try to open our project in the VS Code. So I will do that, and then you can see the project has been opened here. You go ahead, open new terminal, and then you can type in ng save -- open. Enter button for after your ng save command, it will ask you if you want Angular Analytics to be taken on your app. I would just say yes, or you can keep it no for yourself. And yeah, let's give it a sec for it to keep on building your app, and as well eventually just saving it to the browser. After it is done building, then it was able to just start our app at a port 4200. If I go to the browser, you can see that there is an app that is running at 4200, and it will just say hello at Cator Store. Then that is it. You are able to set up a project in Angular and be able to just run it up. And on the next video, we'll try to take a look at some other files, file structure, explain a few other important concepts in Angular. Until then, stay tuned. Cheers.